For years, I assumed half an acre could never provide enough to live independently. It simply seemed too small to produce meaningful amounts of food. Then I visited an Amish farmer whose little property completely changed my perspective. On less than half an acre, he was producing eggs, meat, fresh milk, natural fertilizer, and even extra income, all by raising a handful of carefully chosen animals. What amazed me most wasn't the size of his land, it was the way every animal served multiple purposes. These weren't random livestock, they were selected because they worked together to create a highly productive, self-sustaining homestead. Some of these animals are common, but several are rarely mentioned by modern homesteaders, even though they've been helping Amish families thrive for generations. And the first addition to nearly every Amish homestead is the humble laying hen. And interestingly enough, it's also one of the last animals they would ever consider giving up. There's a very practical reason for that. Just 6 healthy hens can produce close to 2,000 eggs every single year. And for 2 people, that's more eggs than you'll likely eat, leaving plenty available for selling, gifting, or trading with neighbors. In Amish communities, eggs are more than breakfast. They're often used like a form of local currency. A carton of fresh eggs can easily be exchanged for homemade bread, firewood, vegetables, or even simple services around the community. The secret isn't simply owning chickens, it's raising them efficiently. During daylight hours, the birds are allowed to roam across the property, scratching through grass, hunting insects, and cleaning up kitchen leftovers. Every bug they eat is feed you don't have to buy. Every weed seed they scratch up is one less problem in the garden. Free-ranging often cuts purchased feed costs dramatically, while providing healthier birds and richer egg yolks. One mistake many beginners make is believing they need a rooster for egg production. That's completely false. Hens lay eggs whether or not a rooster is present. Unless you're planning to hatch chicks yourself, a rooster simply adds unnecessary noise and can create problems with nearby neighbors. Another thing many new homesteaders discover too late is how powerful chicken manure really is. Fresh manure contains so much nitrogen that spreading it directly into the garden can actually damage plants. The Amish simply compost it for several months until it becomes rich, dark fertilizer that improves soil instead of burning it, and sometimes slowing down actually produces better results. Financially, chickens are difficult to beat. Feeding one hen for a year is relatively inexpensive, while the value of the eggs she produces is several times greater. Choosing the right breed matters even more. Many commercial hybrids produce heavily for only a couple of years before slowing down considerably. Traditional heritage breeds such as Buff Orpingtons or Rhode Island Reds continue laying reliably for years longer while handling cold winters without heated coops. That's exactly why Amish farmers continue choosing these dependable older breeds. They value consistency over short-term production. Eggs provide excellent nutrition, but they're only one part of a balanced homestead. When it comes to producing meat in very limited space, few animals compare with rabbits. Amish families sometimes call them their quiet meat factory, and once you understand the numbers, it's easy to see why. Rabbits convert feed into meat with incredible efficiency. Compared to larger livestock, they require remarkably little food while producing impressive amounts of lean meat. Even more surprising is the amount of space they need. A small shed equipped with stacked wire hutches can comfortably house dozens of rabbits in less room than a family vehicle occupies in the driveway. This makes rabbits ideal for neighborhoods where noise is a concern. Unlike chickens, they remain almost completely silent. Neighbors often don't even realize rabbits are being raised until they're invited over for dinner. A single breeding female can produce around 50 pounds of dressed meat each year when managed properly. Just a few breeding does can provide enough meat that many families rarely need to purchase meat from the grocery store again. Feeding them correctly is important. However, many beginners assume any leafy vegetable is suitable, but certain foods can cause severe digestive problems. Quality hay, balanced pellets, clean water, and occasional safe treats like apple branches create healthier animals and far fewer losses. Rabbit meat itself is mild, tender, and extremely lean. Many families appreciate it because it contains less fat and cholesterol than many other meats, while still fitting easily into everyday recipes. Perhaps one of the biggest bonuses comes from the manure. Rabbit droppings don't require composting before being added to the garden. They can go directly into planting beds, enriching the soil immediately without risking damage to vegetables. It's one of the easiest natural fertilizers available. While rabbits solve much of the meat problem, they don't provide fresh dairy products. For that, Amish homesteads often rely on one remarkably efficient little animal, the Nigerian dwarf goat. Standing only about 2 feet tall, these compact goats produce impressive amounts of milk for their size. A healthy doe can supply up to half a gallon each day, providing enough for drinking, cooking, cheese making, yogurt, and even homemade soap. Many people who struggle with cow's milk discover they tolerate goat milk much better. The fat structure differs naturally, making it easier for many people to digest. 2 healthy does are usually enough to satisfy the dairy needs of a small family while still leaving extra milk for value-added products. Goat milk soap remains especially popular at farmers markets, often selling for premium prices because of its creamy texture and gentle qualities. Amish farmers also follow one simple routine that makes milking far easier. Grain is offered only while the goats are being milked, and before long, the animals eagerly jump onto the milking stand every day, eliminating the need to chase reluctant goats around the yard. There's one important rule every experienced goat owner emphasizes: never keep only one goat. They're highly social animals that depend on companionship. A lonely goat often becomes stressed, noisy, and less productive. Purchasing 2 from the beginning saves countless problems later. Although quality dairy goats require a larger initial investment, the value of fresh milk, cheese, butter, yogurt, and soap quickly offsets the purchase price. Unlike full-size dairy cows, and they require very little pasture and remain perfectly comfortable with a simple shelter protecting them from wind and rain. Milk is wonderful, but protecting the garden is equally important. That's where one of the Amish community's favorite feathered helpers comes into the picture. Muscovy ducks may not win beauty contests with their distinctive red faces, but they earn their place through hard work. These birds consume astonishing numbers of insects every day: mosquito larvae, slugs, ticks, beetles, and countless garden pests quickly disappear when Muscovies patrol the property. Instead of relying on expensive chemical pesticides, the ducks provide natural pest control while producing meat at the same time. Perhaps their greatest advantage over many duck breeds is how quiet they are. Rather than loud quacking, Muscovies communicate mostly with soft hisses and gentle sounds, making them far more acceptable in residential areas. They're also excellent parents. Hens regularly hatch and raise several groups of ducklings each year without incubators, heat lamps, or constant supervision. Much of the work simply happens naturally. Their meat differs significantly from ordinary duck as well. It's leaner, richer, and often compared to beef in flavor rather than traditional poultry. Many people assume ducks require a large pond, but Muscovies are perfectly satisfied with a small plastic pool, refreshed several times each week. The only management task owners should remember is trimming the flight feathers on one wing every few months. Doing so prevents these surprisingly capable flyers from relocating themselves onto neighboring properties. While ducks handle insects, another animal helps prepare the garden itself. American guinea hogs are smaller than commercial pig breeds, yet they provide tremendous value on a compact homestead. Instead of viewing them simply as livestock, many Amish families treat them like living garden equipment. Allowed into sections of the garden before planting, they naturally root through weeds, loosen compacted soil, and leave behind valuable fertilizer. By rotating them through different areas using portable fencing, entire planting beds can be prepared without gasoline-powered machinery. Their smaller adult size makes them much easier to manage than massive commercial hogs. Processing becomes safer and far less physically demanding. Feeding costs remain low because guinea hogs thrive on pasture, garden leftovers, fallen fruit, and many food scraps that would otherwise be discarded. Their rich white lard is another reason they're so highly valued. Excellent baking, frying, candle making, and soap production all benefit from quality rendered fat, something Amish kitchens have appreciated for generations. A productive breeding pair can raise multiple litters each year, filling freezers with pork while creating opportunities for additional sales or trading. The primary precaution involves proper placement. Pig areas should always remain well away from wells or drinking water to prevent nutrient contamination over time. If you're looking for eggs but have almost no room available, another tiny bird deserves serious attention. Coturnix quail begin laying eggs at an astonishing age. Within about 6 weeks of hatching, many females already begin producing, while chickens often require 5 or 6 months before laying their first egg. That rapid maturity allows families to establish egg production incredibly quickly. Even better, many local regulations treat quail differently from chickens. In some communities where chickens are prohibited, quail remain perfectly legal, creating opportunities for suburban homesteaders who thought fresh eggs were impossible, and their housing requirements are incredibly modest. A simple cage no larger than a coffee table can comfortably hold a surprising number of birds, allowing dozens of eggs to be collected every week from a very small footprint. Although each egg is tiny, they're loaded with nutrients and have become increasingly popular among health-conscious buyers. Amish roadside markets frequently sell colorful pickled quail eggs at premium prices, creating another reliable source of homestead income. One challenge is reproduction. Unlike many chickens, Coturnix quail rarely sit on their eggs to hatch chicks. Most owners rely on small incubators whenever they want to expand or replace their flock. And finally, there's one creature that doesn't produce meat or milk at all, yet dramatically increases